let's talk about illegal immigrants. So Gavin Newsom was giving us a hard time for threatening the health insurance of illegal immigrants. Just to be very transparent, if you're on Medicare, you don't get free dental, you don't get free vision. You do if you're an illegal immigrant in California.
This is the infuriating
But so anyway, so you got taxpayers in New Mexico, right, which is a blue state but a poor state, paying extra tax dollars to the federal government that are recycled back into LA to deal with the fraud that I'm talking about. So illegal immigrants, he's mad. We're horrible people. We're Republicans. You have no conscience. You have no heart. As soon as we made it clear we were no longer going to pay for illegal immigrants in California, what did he do? He took them off Medi-Cal. Now, he didn't take them off. He took them up on the federal side. So in theory, only emergency services are going to get paid for illegal immigrants in California, which is a national law.
And it's reasonable.
Reasonable. Now, we want babies delivered, car accident victims.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, get health care, but not elective hernia surgery, cataracts. You have to be an American citizen who paid into the system to get these. So anyway, so we deal with this. Gavin says we're only going to pay for illegal immigrants through our own state-based system. We've audited him now. This data is coming out this week. We have now found over $1.5 billion of money spent wrongly. We've audited it. They're not even arguing. $1.5 billion from that California charged the federal government for illegal immigrants that they're not allowed to pay charges for. They have to pay for it themselves. He's not happy, but they're paying us because they know we're right. So you're going to see something happen very interesting in California. As soon as the money is being paid by California government officials, they're going to start getting more serious about this. And that's why it's so important for us to say, we're not into this anymore. I'm not going to let taxpayers in Alabama and Mississippi, New Mexico, our poorest states pay for the fourth largest economy in the world, and they get less. Let's talk about illegal immigrants.
Less. We all get less. Well, how do we all get less? Because we're pouring in to our federal government, our taxes, and they're taking our tax money and they're having to fund the liberal blue states. My show today is We Are a Nation of Fraud. We are a nation of fraud. There is no, well, I wonder what we are in America. No, we're a nation of fraud. And we've allowed this to happen because we're gutless. We're ignorant. We don't know what's going on. We're all hyped up on Minnesota, and rightfully so, and Ohio and Maine. Maine now is coming out. It's absolute free-for-all money grab. California, you can combine all of the states, and we'll have nowhere close to what California has done. I've done this. I've talked about this on my show, and in 2025, they had to readjust the amount of money that they spent on illegal aliens from about 18 to about 50. So it's not even the high end cost of the babies or the adults. They had to change it from 6.7 billion to 9.7 billion. They are in the red in California. They do not have surpluses. They're running a deficit. How do they overcome the deficit? Well, they charge the federal government. Just like Oz said there, we've already found 1.5 billion. They're not even arguing. They're paying it back. 1.5 billion. That's just off the top. That's not digging in. We are a nation that is not 38 to 40 trillion in debt. We had 38 to 40 trillion in quote debt stolen from us. Our federal government, through the states and all the NGOs, they have stole 38 to 40 trillion dollars. What if I told you right now, America should be anywhere, say 10 trillion in the black? What if we had $10 trillion? So I want you to understand. So you've been paying federal income tax. I have since I was 18. So now I'm about almost 40 years, more or less. What if I didn't have to pay any federal income tax? What if I didn't have to pay any state income tax? You tell me my financial system, my financial life right now would not be completely different? All of our lives will be completely different. So ask yourself, well, where did my financial life go to? Well, it went to fraudulent federal government. who then gave our money, my money, to foreign nationals inside and outside of our nation. And they gave it to NGOs. Then they washed it and cleaned it and gave it back to the politicians. We are not in debt as a nation. We've had that money stolen. There's a very big difference. We had it all stolen from us. We are a nation drowning in fraud. I'm going to show you this one. I'll pull it up on stage, but I want to prep it for you. This woman, her name is Amy Bock, B-O-C-K. She's the mastermind. That very attractive woman is the mastermind behind 250 million, $250 million of Somali fraud in Minnesota. But she claims that the governor, Tim Walz, who is a jackass, and the Keith Ellison Antifa, Keith Ellison, knew all about the fraud, and they did nothing about it.
Ringleader of the $250 million Minnesota welfare fraud scandal, telling Fox News she believes the state leaders knew taxpayer money was being stolen and did nothing to stop it.
But I guess, how high up do you think the message went that there was fraud? Like, do you think it made its way to the governor's office?
I struggle to believe it didn't. I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware.
A spokesperson for the state attorney general responding, saying in part, quote, treating the words of a convicted fraudster like Amy Bock as though they have any credibility is shocking. She is a liar, fraudster, and manipulator of the highest order who has never acknowledged or accepted her guilt. Ringleader of
I don't know if you could hate politicians more or people like this woman. She's a Democrat. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we went through Dr. Oz in California, 1.5 billion. They say the number's closer to 75 billion. 75 billion to begin. Just to begin. So we're probably looking at hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud in California. Minnesota, we are creeping up to 25 billion and counting. And now we go to Maine. I did a show on this on an older podcast that I had, and I wrote about it in my book. In Maine, you have massive marijuana grows run by illegal alien Chinese with M4s or AR-15 surveillance, and the state of Maine knows, and they do nothing about it. The state of Maine has fallen. It's a dead state. Corruption is beyond anything you could ever imagine. The governor, Governor Mills, is corrupt. She's incompetent, like Governor Walz is in Minnesota. And they have allowed this fraud. Like, I don't need Amy Botch to tell me that Ellison and Walz knew about this. There are other people that have impeccable credentials as investigative journalists. Evidence that has come out where you can't even deny it. People like Miss Mills in Maine and Walz and Ellison in Minnesota. It is absolutely 100% positive that they are corrupt, they are complicit, and at the very, very worst, or the best case scenario for them, is they just turned a blind eye. Try to understand, Minnesota is not some gigantic populated state. Maine is tiny. And we're going to believe that $25 billion went through the mayor's office and wasn't, the governor's office, and it wasn't tracked. You just lost $25 billion. In Maine, you have massive fraud and you don't know that it's happening. It's not like you have trillions of dollars of budget every year where you begin to lose here and there and it adds up. No, no, no. Your budget is small and you're losing a significant percentage of it and you remain silent. Here's one guy. This guy owns this building. I'm going to show you. I'll pull it up right now. He owns this building and it's nothing but illegal alien Somali fraudsters in there. Watch this.
We're here in Portland, Maine. We found of the businesses that are registered in here, of the 20-something businesses, 10 of them are home healthcare businesses. As you can see, Prestige Home Care, Bright Star Home Care, Atlantic Community Support, 5 Stars Home Health Care, Prime Home Care, LLC. It's a trend we saw in Minnesota, one that the Minnesota House Oversight Committee on Fraud tells News Nation is a giant red flag. Large clusters of healthcare providers in one location. This building right behind me has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered in the building. Inside this Portland office building, owner Ron Nevins agreed to speak with us.
I think I got 10 healthcare companies, which is probably about half, maybe a little less than half of this building.
Healthcare, home healthcare. I didn't even know what home healthcare was. Do you think these businesses are actually legit businesses?
Some, yes, but some I highly question. Nobody's ever here, and if it was 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but when there's 10, I've had as many as 12 or 13 probably before. The 5 Star, I took the sign off the door because I'm trying to rent the office.
A state audit found that 5 Star Home Healthcare overbilled Maine's Medicaid by nearly $400,000, according to documents obtained by the Maine Wire. They failed to provide documentation to substantiate hundreds of thousands of dollars in Medicaid benefits paid out for home-based health care, and then the owner just abandoned the office.
I can't even reach him in 6 months. No return calls, no return texts, nothing.
There's been no consequences, no investigation, no resolution to what happened with 5 Stars Home Health Care. And that, I think, is something that's a story that we see play out time and time again.
You've been reporting on this for quite a long time here in Maine. How widespread do you think this issue is here?
Hundreds of millions of dollars easily. It's, you look at just where we're standing right now, there are probably a dozen home healthcare agencies registered here. We can see Ladna Home Healthcare down there. That's a $2 million home healthcare agency. You can see it's located right next to 2 money wiring services. Right next to it, you have Dahab Shield. The Dahab Shield is the official money wiring service of the Central Bank of Somalia.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes,
Does it bother you?
Well, it ticks me off if they're screwing the state of Maine, and because that's my tax money, You add up what's going on all over the state of Maine, it's probably millions and millions of dollars of fraud and abuse.
Well, it's way more than millions and millions, sir. Try hundreds of millions into billions of dollars. The one investigative journalist, that was Steve Robinson, and he was on Sean Ryan's show. I encourage you to go watch that. He is one of the investigative journalists that has uncovered all of this fraud, all of it, and it goes all the way into the Somali community in Maine. It captures all of the politicians, all the way up to the Governor Mills. Do you understand that this is our money? Do you understand that? Do you understand that the fraud is so enormous? And who's doing it? Would I be pissed off if it was a bunch of white guys from Alabama doing this? You damn straight I would. And I want them strung up. They've committed treason. I want them killed. I don't want them going to jail. I want them strung up and dead, because that's treason. You conspired to defraud the federal government, put us in a national security issue. You don't think it's a national security issue that we're almost $40 trillion in debt and owe China hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars? You don't think that we're being leveraged? You don't think politicians are being leveraged? You don't think this is a national security issue? It's not a bunch of crackers from Alabama and Mississippi. These are a bunch of retarded Somalians that we allowed into our country, hundreds of thousands of them, into our country, and they spread like cancer into California. They're in Kansas, Maine, Minnesota, Washington State, wherever you find a significant number of these people, these Somalis, you will find massive, massive fraud in the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars. We're going to find out that they have smuggled and they have stolen and frauded hundreds of billions of dollars over the last 25 years. That's when they started coming in, the late 90s, early 2000s. Let's just keep on rolling down, shall we? Let's go to Ohio. God, Ohio. Ohio should be ashamed of itself. Yeah. That's, you know what? That freeze frame picture right there pretty much says it all, doesn't it? This is Ohio. Hey, sweetheart, we live in America now. Do you think you want to take your dirty, disgusting do-rag off your head and get into what we call American garb? Or do you want to stay in your filthy, dirty curtain robes that you guys get? They don't even try to assimilate. They don't try to become American. Why should they? We don't demand anybody to assimilate. Diversity is our strength. Having a diverse culture is great. Not being able to speak to these people because, number one, they don't speak English. Number two, they're mentally retarded. That's good for America. Really? Why don't you tell me how it's good for America? Has anybody ever really shot back at these people? I know I have, but has just anybody in the general media or anything, when someone says, well, you know, this is good for America, really? Tell me how it's good for America. Go ahead, I'm waiting. And just sit there and watch them just stutter and say, you're a jackass. You're a buffoon. You're an intellectual midget. The idea that you have any sway on TV or even have a platform is disgusting. But let's go ahead and listen to this fraud in Ohio. It's spreading like a wild cancer through the body of America.
Today, I'm showing you 161 Child Care in Columbus, Ohio. And as you can see, it does not look like a child care center at all. It is locked. It says it's open. There's a little desk right there, but the ceiling's all falling out and stuff like that. And if you come around back, you can see that this place is just a total dump. Literal just debris everywhere. This is a question. How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that? No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets
not open to you. I'm going to pause it right there. And I'm going to tell you something that I see every time that I make an arrest or used to make arrests, and now I'm back in the game. When I make arrest, I look at the person and I tell myself, I remind myself every single time, and I tell young agents and officers that are coming in to law enforcement, I say, stop looking at them as an individual. Stop. You need to look at them, each one of them, as millions. This one woman is frauding the state of Maine, which comes from frauding the federal government, probably a couple 100,000 to 1 million plus, probably more. She's not a singular person. She represents millions of these savages, millions of these burqa-wearing piece of trash, believing in some pedophile god that doesn't speak English. They have IQ of less than 70. They're functionally retarded. And they are destroying our country because our fraudulent government, what is our government? Does our government really even exist? Honestly, it has been so bastardized. Who's even in office that we say, well, they won? Honestly, ask yourself. Senators, congressmen, governors, what election is true and fair? How many of these mentally retarded savages that can't even speak English. They're illiterate in their own language, in whatever gutter language Somalia speaks. If you're not pissed off, if you're not just raging mad, we're all doing our taxes this year, right? Starting in January, coming up February, you got to April, you're paying your taxes. I want you, when you write that check or when you see the totality of the amount that you paid to federal income tax, I want you to understand it went to them. It went to them. It went to the 50 million illegal aliens in our country that our government brought in. Our government brought in our replacement. They brought in people to destroy our country. We are no longer a Christian nation run by white and black Americans. What are we now? We are the melting pot without any whites and blacks. We just have a melting pot of third world savages, Indians from South and Central America. Everyone has an IQ below 70. That's the average. Stop for a second. When you hear Somalia has an average IQ of about 68, that means there's some Somalis that have IQs maybe in the 80s, which is still subpar intellectually. But that means it has to average out into the 68. So you have Somalis that are in the 40s and 50s. I don't even know how they even function. I don't even know how they even know how to breathe. I don't want any more of these people in my country. And the ones that are here, I want them removed. And I want it done now. Not 5 years from now, not 50 years from now. I want them gone now. But I want to show you, because I think this is as important as anything, is we all sit here and we wonder, or we say, well, it's just money and we're a wealthy country. And well, number one, I think you're a moron. But I want to show you, because this is important, $700 million in straight cash in the last 2 years has gone to Somalia. That's what we know of. And they fly it through our airports in luggage. They're that brazen. They don't even try to hide it. They just say, here it is. Here's my receipt, however I want it, and I'm out. And we go, okay, please don't call us a racist. But do you want to know what $800,000 looks like? Because I know you've never had it. I have made way more than $800,000 in my lifetime, but never at once. I never had it sitting there. I never had it sitting there in my hands. Have you? What is it? Maybe less than 1% of Americans have ever held that type of money. Maybe even the ones that have it never had it out like that, unless they're drug dealers or fraudsters. Well, let's look at one of a Somali woman going through the airport with $800,000 cash, just so you can see what the hell I'm talking about.
No right. That's my property, all of it. You can't just open it like that.
We followed procedure. The bag flagged on screening. We
No,
need to document the
it's
contents.
cash for my family. Do you hear me? I send it home. You touch it, you will be arrested.
I know my rights.
I know my rights.
Please keep your hands clear.
Okay, I want you to understand that woman with the dirty rag on her head. Do you think that she just earned $800,000? She can barely speak English. She's just yelling like a banshee. She earned $800,000? That's like she said, that's from my family. You explain to me how she made $800,000. Go ahead. I want to hear it. Explain it to me real slow, like I'm retarded Somalian with a big balloon head. Go ahead. Explain it to me. How that uneducated buffoon has $800,000 in a suitcase. And I will guarantee you she screamed and yelled and they let her go. I will guarantee you that. Because I bet she has a receipt for it. You know where that money came from? That came from home health cares, daycares, transportation units. That's your money. That's our money. Leaving America to the tune of $700 million that is accounted for. I want you to go to the bank tomorrow. Test me out. Just go there and say you want $5,000 in cash. Watch them freak out. Why? Because they don't carry a lot of cash in the banks. That's what you don't know. There's vaults in every state that carries that holds the cash. And that bank has to make a requisition to the quote centralized bank to get the money. So where in God's name do you get $800,000? And then you get it over and over. Every single day, $1 million goes out of America through just St. Paul, Minneapolis. $1 million a year just through St. Paul, Minneapolis. How are they getting the cash? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So let's say you fraud Minnesota, the state, and you defrauded them $50 million. And then you have all of your groups of people, all of your fraudulent groups, your Somali group. And then they're saying, okay, well, here's my bank account. I got 5 million in it. How much do you have over there, Mohammed Abdullah Boo Boo Boo? How much you got? Well, I got 30 million. My thing's bigger than the stupid raghead girl here with the red dirty rag on her head. So then we start to figure out, well, where are we going to get our money? Are you thinking that all that money's coming from the banks in Minnesota? They don't have that much cash. So that means it has to go throughout multiple states. So that's how big this fraud is. This is how much, and everyone knows it. So it's not happening in a bubble in Minneapolis. The Bank of Minneapolis isn't coming up with $1 million of hard currency a day. It has to come from multiple states. That's how big this fraud is. That's how much you're being ripped off, America. Damn it, if you're not pissed, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. J.D. Vance talked about this, and I like it. I like what he was saying, but I want you to listen to him. You know, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of things about J.D. Vance that's not, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't square. A man that changes his name, when he's in his 30s, changes his name. Where did he come from? He's friends with the guy that owns Palantir and a bunch of other stuff. That's who funded his, I don't know. He says all the right things. That means nothing to me anymore. I think he says all the right things because Donald Trump makes them say all the right things. But listen to what he has to say.
Well, Mr. Vice President, appreciate you taking the
course,
time
man.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Obviously, you've given your remarks a little bit earlier, but I've never seen any protests like this. We've just had charges announced on Armstrong, Allen, and Will Kelly. What do you make of this whole situation?
Well, first of all, if you interrupt a church service, you ought to get arrested. You ought to go to prison. And I think we wanted to send a very clear signal at the Department of Justice that you cannot interrupt people's rightful worship without expecting there to be any consequences. In the same token, you can't assault a law enforcement officer without expecting to get arrested either. So the Department of Justice, I think, has been on the case here in Minneapolis, where this really started as an anti-fraud operation. I think a lot of folks in the Democratic Party decided they didn't want to talk about fraud from Somalians. They wanted to talk about the brutality of immigration enforcement, as they call it. And so what you've seen a lot is this sort of viral effort to try to inflate what's actually going on, to overstate the wrongs that have been committed and understate the very serious problems that we have with immigration enforcement in this country for a long time. And they're just trying to distract. They think that if they can turn ICE into this evil monster, it will distract from the fraud and it will distract from the Biden open border. And we're just not going to let it. We're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, well, this is another thing too. You were actually the one to announce the Assistant Attorney General now going to be looking into these types of cases. How many more of these do you think we're going to see? We can hear the protesters outside. Yeah. How many more of these do you think you're going to see nationwide?
How many more arrests do we think we're going to see nationwide? I mean, look, I think we have a fraud problem that is much worse in California than it is in Minnesota. I was talking actually to our small business administrator. I think she's found probably $500 million of fraud in Minneapolis and the broader Minnesota area. I think she's found $7 billion worth of fraud in California. So this is unfortunately a problem that is much bigger than Minnesota. but it's also, it highlights how absurd this effort to prevent the immigration enforcement is. If you look at blue states, blue cities, you look at Memphis, Tennessee, not a Republican mayor. You look at red states like Texas, but blue cities like Austin. You do not see this level of chaos over the enforcement of our immigration laws. What you have is a small band of very far left people who are doing everything that they can, up to and including assaulting law enforcement officers and raiding churches, to try to make ICE out to be the ultimate enemy and to kind of engage in this weird small-scale civil war against federal immigration law. It's absurd. It's added a lot of chaos here in Minneapolis, and it's one of the problems why I'm here to fix it.
JD Vance makes a great point, and the bigger point of that is all the fraud, right? So there's 2 points I want to make. He's saying that the small business, just small business, we're not talking about healthcare, we're not talking about money to illegals, just small business, SBA, $7 billion. $7 billion. Do you begin to understand now that we're not 38, 39, 40 trillion in debt? We didn't spend our way. They stole it. They, being the politicians, they stole it through illegal immigration and NGOs. They stole it through foreign entanglements. You know how hard it is to try to you're always fearful of getting some retarded balloon heads from Somalia or Mexico or wherever. If they're frauding in America, there's a good chance one or two of these morons are going to stumble, and we're going to find out. It's hard to track money when it's in one of the Kurdistans in the Middle East, Israel, the continent of Africa. You have no idea the money goes. We don't even know what money's going there. And then it comes back. No one's watching it. We have been raped, financially raped in this country. And the other point that JD Vance made, it's spot on. They do not want to stop these riots. They want to accelerate it because that is the smoke. That is the smoke screen to keep us off of the open borders, to keep us off the fraud. That's all it is. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Everyone's looking around like, well, I hope it gets better. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better for a while. It's going to get worse. It's going to continually get worse. It's going to get worse, and you need to get prepared. And that's sat123.com. You don't think you need a generator? You don't think you need a sat phone? You don't think you need a Starlink? Really? Right now, the state of Texas, Arkansas, South Carolina, Tennessee, on and on and on. No power. No power, no cell towers. No cell towers, no internet, and no communications. Chris from Sat123 comes on every single week. We talk about their products because I believe in being prepared. I don't believe that we live in the best of times. Can we all look around and just agree on that? Just agree that that's the truth. I bet if I drug in 100 people, right, left, and middle, we'd all agree. We may disagree on why it's off center, but we would agree that America is offline. We're off our center. We're not fully situated on our foundation. If that's how you feel, then you need to be prepared. Then you throw Mother Nature in it. How long is the power going to be out? How long are you not going to be able to communicate? I don't know. And that's the point. You need to be prepared. The minimal thing that I'm going to ask you to do is go to the website. Just go to the website and look. I have sat phones. I have a Starlink. I have generator, and I have ballistic backpack. Those are just several products I have from Sat123 because I'm going to be prepared. Go to sat123.com/JJ. Then if you would like to, please support me at jjcarrell.com or jjcarrell.substack.com. I got an email just today actually, or a DM on X saying, "Hey, you need to put more stuff on X, and I don't like Substack. I don't want to go to Substack, and I don't really want to go to your website." Well, you can just go pound sand. I don't know what to tell you. I can't make it any more easier for you, sweetheart. Go to my website, jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.substack.com. Go there, just see if you want to support me. If at the very minimum, just go there and see what I have. Support me that way. jjcarrell.com, jjcarrellsubstack.com. Our nation is been lied to. We have been lied to, propagandized for as long as I had several brain cells wrap around in my head. That would be after high school. In high school, I'm just chasing chicks and playing ball, trying to graduate high school. But I always knew that something wasn't right. Things didn't make sense to me, even in high school, even in grammar school, I remember. Things just did not make sense. I didn't have the intellect, experience, or the knowledge to know what was wrong. I just instinctively remember thinking, this does not make sense. I remember taxes. Why is my dad working his ass off? And he has to pay for people that don't work? My dad was always working, and my mom worked, and somehow they had to pay money to the government so the government could give it to other people that made a decision not to work. What in God's name is going on? One of the greatest lies that we have been told is that we can take people from the third world and assimilate them into America. All we have to do is just help financially and then be there to support them, because all cultures are the same. There's no difference. We're all creating God's image. Yes, I agree with that. But we are all not equal. And you can't take people from the third world hellscapes that are in oppressive governments where they're uneducated. They have been in poverty for centuries, and think that we're just going to take them and plop them in Ohio or Nevada or San Diego or Kansas or Missouri, and say, hey, everything's going to be great. Why don't you take off that dirty curtain you have on? Here's some nice blue jeans and a good pullover. No. I want to wear dirty sandals. I want to wear a curtain, and I want to take a dirty dish towel and put it on my head. Well, okay. You don't want to assimilate? No, I don't. I'm Somalian. I'm Mexican. I'm from the Middle East. I'm from Nigeria. I'm from wherever the hell that I came from, and I'm not going to change. And we have been told that this is what America is. America is an idea, right? Vivek Ramaswamy and Indian National. No, Vivek, that's not true. We're not an idea. We're a geographical piece of land with borders. We're a government. We are a group of people that were founded by a certain group of people with certain beliefs that are now burnt into what we call a Constitution, Bill of Rights. So no, that insane phrase, terminology that we're an idea, no, I'm not going to allow you to demonize, minimize my country. And if you don't like it, you can take your sorry ass back to India and you can crap in the streets with the other 100 million Indians. You don't like that? You can go back and try to fish in Somalia with all your other retarded cousins that you're banging. and having children with. You don't like it in Mexico with your Mexican flag? Take your ass back to your narco state and deal with it and hope you don't get your head chopped off. But we don't want that here in America anymore. And my feeling, my belief, everything I'm saying now, people are picking up and they're saying it out loud too. Things that you would never, ever say out loud. I would, but I'm different. Other people scared to death. Now they're saying it without hesitation. And why? Let me just give you a little taste of how we're all the same, okay? Because I find this to be very, very important. And this is Steve Robinson, who I showed you on Maine, and he's on the Sean Ryan Show. And what he's going to talk about, just in this really small clip, short clip, is how he's realized from his context that nobody's dying in the Somali communities in Maine. Well, why would that be? They're living forever? I don't know.
Have you ever looked at cardiac arrests involving Somalis? It's like, I kind of grokked what she was getting to. And I was like, you mean like, are Somalis dying of natural causes and being reported? And she was like, yeah. She's like, I was talking with Minneapolis police officers and none of them ever remember responding to a cardiac arrest, aneurysm, stroke of a older Somali person. You're just looking at the actuarial tables. You would think 100,000 people out there, the odds say that some of them are going to have heart attacks, they're going to die, and then the police or the emergency services are going to be called to respond. None of the police officers ever remember going to a Somali DOA. And so I go to some of my sources in the Lewiston Police Department and ask, do you remember ever responding to Somali DOA's cardiac events? Like, they start laughing. Like, you know, we were just talking about this at the station and no one really remembers responding to Somali DOAs. So what's happening? You know, based on that sample, you know, it's not totally scientific, but we know there's some natural deaths happening from medical events within the Somali community that are not being reported to the state, to the medical authorities, to EMS. Now, why is that? So what happens if grandma's got subsidized senior housing, an EBT card and Medicaid benefits, and you report that she's passed away? Okay, so those benefits get shut off. Everybody can understand, yeah, you just keep the benefits going. This is how you end up with Social Security or more so the EBT cards, benefits going to dead people. But what are they doing with the bodies?
That's what I was going to ask.
What are they doing with the bodies? I don't know.
Interesting when they find.
I don't know. That is how sick the people we're bringing into our country. Again, this isn't just Somalis. This is 180 nationalities out of 194 nations on planet Earth were allowed in under Joe Biden. 30 million from 180 different nationalities, 180 different nations. Somalia just happens to be one of them. But we can go down the list of African countries and they're defrauding us. They're frauding us like crazy. Where are the dead bodies? Well, this is a cultural thing, right? Do you think the white people from Western Europe would allow their moms and dads and grandma and grandpas to just die in their house, or we'll just bury them in the backyard to save a few months so we can continue to get money from the federal government? Do you actually think that would happen? Honestly, come on, let's ask ourselves, honestly, are the people that we have immigrate from France and Ireland and the UK and Germany, Austria, they're sticking grandma under the porch? And I'm sure they're burying her with all the proper burial techniques, right? Or no, they're third worlders. Who knows what they're doing with them? I've had it. I'm going to show you another third world, this shithole. And this is the nation of Haiti. And Haiti is an absolute hellscape. But we brought in anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million Haitians in 4 years under Joe Biden. But I want to give you an idea, a taste, a flavor, if you will, of the type of people and their culture that we brought in to the United States of America. Half a million to 1 million of those people. When I ran my Border Patrol station during Joe Biden's time, our cells were packed. What was supposed to be 125 capacity people in our overnight holding facilities grew to 250 and turned into long term. Do you know the group of people? There was 2 groups of people that I could not put together. All of them hated, all the nationalities hated each other. Number one, just right off the bat, let me lay this out. All the nationalities hated each other. The idea that we're racist and the rest of the globe, the rest of the earth all gets along. Oh, it's all kumbaya. No. I could maybe squeeze like a Honduran and a Mexican together. But you know who I could never get? I couldn't put anyone with the Indians. No one wanted to be the Indians. No one from the nation of India. Because of some things I can't say on a quasi-family hour of what they would do in their cells together. All males. But you know who else I couldn't put anywhere? I couldn't put them with any group of people because they were so despised. The Haitians. They're so violent, so vile. And we brought in almost 1 million of them. We have, I think, 500,000 in Border Patrol arrest data. You can go ahead and double, triple that. Easily double, triple that. Our borders were completely and utterly wide open. How do you think this is going to play out in America? Well, why don't you go ask the people in Spring Hill, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio. Biden dropped 20,000 illegal alien Haitians there. Do you know what they have in their 20,000? Do you know how many people they had in Springfield? They had 40,000. So now 1 in 3 is a voodoo Haitian. They're eating their pets and dogs. You know what else they have? They had to build on a whole wing of the hospital that is there solely for STDs and AIDS. Have you ever heard of an AIDS epidemic in Springfield, Ohio? STD epidemic? Well, no. Now that they have Haitians, they have unlimited amounts of STD cases and full-blown active AIDS. Welcome to America. Have you had it yet? Do you understand what the hell's going on to your country yet? Before I go on to the next topic, which is going to blow your mind, I'm just going to tell you right now. When I show you this video, it's going to blow your mind. We live in such a sick world. One thing that I do want to talk about is where's all these riots? Where are they getting their funding? Well, one of the places they get their funding through the No Kings is through Walmart. And all of the products that Walmart sells and big box stores sell, they hate you. How do you think Black Lives Matter got funded by tune of billions of dollars? It's corporate America. The products that you bought, part of that profit went to destroy your nation and your cities and states. So why not try to find a company that's made in America, has over 400 products. These products are, quote, green. They don't have mRNA in their meat and food. They don't have plastic and metals in their drinks. They don't have metals in their lotions. And it's made in America by Americans. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. Patriotsmade.com/JJ. I said, you're not going to believe this. So I'm going to, before I play you that you're not going to believe this video, I want you to, God, I'm going to show you this guy right here. Pull him up. I'm going to put him on the screen because I want to show you who I'm talking about. This human piece of trash called Kyle Wagner. He is Antifa. Don't you love his tattoo? His face. There's nothing that screams I'm really highly intelligent more than a face tattoo. And neck tattoos also. Neck tattoos, amazing. Absolutely amazing. This guy is an Antifa general. Hell, I don't even know what they call themselves. But he's telling everybody in Minneapolis to arm up. It's time to go to war. Look, he's wearing a bulletproof vest, Kevlar vest. I want you to listen to these people. This is what's happening in Minnesota. It's going to happen in Maine, Ohio, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. It's going to happen. It's going to explode across America very soon. And these are the leaders.
My name is Kyle. I'm Antifa, and there's so much rage in me that I've had to record this like 15 times trying to get the message out. They fucked up, okay? Go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. I am talking specifically to my fucking followers. This is everything I have fucking talked about, and this is exactly what I said was going to happen. This is exactly what I said was going to fucking come when we didn't fucking go and march on fucking Whipple with guns. Sorry. But welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
Okay, Kyle. I'm very big on listening to what people say and believing them. Just believe in them. Why is that guy not in jail right now? There are endless groups of people like this guy in Maine, Ohio, LA, Minneapolis, and they're unhinged. They're unhinged. How unhinged are they? Well, I want to show you how unhinged this guy is. This is the same guy. He likes to wear dresses and think that he's a woman. We have a severe mental illness sweeping across the United States of America. We have got to come to grips with this. This is the same guy that's threatening to kill ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. He thinks he's a woman. Our nation is falling.
I do this all year, all the time. I'm out and about like this because I do it for me all year. All the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm a fucking blue collar fuck of a dude all day long. And then at least a few times every week, I like to get real clean and pretty and go out, shoot pool or get dinner, maybe go dance. You never fucking know. Right. But I don't need a fucking parade to celebrate. I don't need to be groped and harassed and catcalled and treated like a piece of meat by a bunch of fucking cis women who fucking give me side eyes in public when I do this the rest of the fucking year, who mumble to themselves and fucking have all kinds of things to say behind my back. All of you, fuck off.
He likes to get real clean and pretty and shoot my brothers and sisters in federal law enforcement. How do you think all this ends, America? Honestly. How do you think this ends when there are a significant percentage of our citizens are like this man? Completely lives in an alternative reality. But we've allowed this to happen. We've allowed this to happen to the United States of America because we have inundated our nation with people that hate us, third world savages. And then at the same time that we brought in 50 million people, we have medicated, we have propagandized, we have mentally destroyed, physically and spiritually destroyed our own people, that now we have a manifestation of complete mental patients. Complete mental patients. Man, it's just, I'm looking at my country and I realize that it's dying. And we can sit here and we can blame everybody you want to blame. But our country, our nation is completely under attack. '70s, 90% white, 10% black. 2026, we are 55% white, 12% black, and everything under the sun is here in America. We have lost our country. We have lost our ways. People say, don't make it about race, but it is about race because it's my country founded by white Europeans. Japan has Japanese. China has Chinese. Iran has Iranians. Mexicans have Mexicans. Mexico has Mexicans. Guatemala has Guatemalans. Why does our country have to be everyone else because some dipshit French person put it on a plaque in America? I'm going to end the show with a Nick Fuentes clip as he says it so perfectly, just so absolutely succinct.
In a century, do you know that there will be no Germany, no Italy, no France, no Netherlands, no Belgium, no Spain, no Portugal, no England, no Sweden, no Ireland, no Canada, no Australia, no America, none of it, gone, all of it, everything about it. You do understand that, don't you? Replaced by Africans, Asians, Amerindians, Arabs, replaced in our own lands. And they have a front row seat and they are cheering it on. They say it. Ben Shapiro said, I don't give a damn about the browning of America. What do you think that looks like? The browning of America. That means there's going to be no more white people.